Welcome back, everybody, to another Monday night at Heroes and Hooligans, where we return this week with our Babes and Blades Vanished in the Ashes campaign. We are in week 6 of our campaign, and that means we have a recap. So last 2 weeks ago, when we last played, the party had found themselves in their same land in a new time, a long time before their time, very far in the past, and they had met some new friends and gone some new places. Let's talk about it, guys. Who wants to do recap?
So we wake up in a strange camp. We are in cages. We are surrounded by these giant people. The party's convinced that we're gonna be eaten or sacrificed. And at the time, I'm the only one who knows how to speak to these people. And oh boy, do I not. I am not someone who we want to be the spokesperson of the party. I'm not the face. I don't remember important details. I give these people all the wrong details. But they apparently decide they don't want to deal with us, so that's good. So we get more or less thrown into a basket and carried off somewhere else. And these are much friendlier people. Much friendlier. They even apparently created the disease that it has infected some of our party, but they have a partial cure. Well, they have the whole cure, but they're not going to give it to us. And we learn that there's something going on with someone in the party that we will have to talk about because the moon's a big deal. And stuff about dragons, and we might be needing to go talk to a bunch of different dragons, more or less, if we want a very brief summary.
Dragons are fun. You met a nice, friendly dragon, didn't you?
I think it's a dick.
Finka loves our dragon friend.
Yeah, I think Finka really loves Falcor.
Vex also loves our dragon friend, and she was promised a ride, so very exciting.
Well, you got to ride in the basket with.
No, she was promised a real ride.
A real ride, yeah. That's right. I believe Falcor is slated to take you someplace, if I'm not mistaken. Do you remember where you were meant to go?
Maybe.
Oh.
Maybe.
I think Hala.
Yes. No.
No. I love it when I write things down and then realize I put things in the wrong notebook, so I'm having to scan and remember the wrong details.
Yeah, I think Hala. I think that's right.
I remember it was the land that had creatures similar to Athena.
Yes. Yes. That is. See, if I read what I wrote, if I had written it like a normal person, that's what it would say. Just in case anyone followed that.
If you had written it,
I said it.
as a non-neurodivergent with ADHD, if you had written it as a regular brained person, it would compute, but it didn't because you don't, because you're not. That's what you said.
But see, that's the problem. I was probably my brain doesn't multi anything, and I was probably trying to like talk and or listen and write at the same time, so it came out all garbled.
It happens. It's okay.
But yes, Hala. Pretty sure that's where we're going with this other Leonin person.
So you're supposed to go meet somebody. So your friend Falcor, he's at the village. You know, there was the dragon conclave and the summit and the meeting and the people, and you met them and you talked, and now you're on your way to go do other things. So Falcor is there waiting with his basket of holding for you to go on a ride.
Oh, I guess we're doing-
probably the second one in after Vex. Let's be
Luna
real.
is sketching absolutely everything.
Finka will be the last one in, and she will glare at Falcor as she gets in very, very grudgingly.
And Vex was probably in there before he even stopped talking.
Yeah. So everybody gets in, and you're all in the basket, and you take off in his normal Falcor, very glorious way, and you lift up into the sky, and he gets you about cruising speed, and you're traveling. And he says, you know, I have an idea.
Uh-oh.
On a scale
Uh-oh.
of 1 to 10, how interesting are you mortals anyway?
Oh,
Is
I
that
think
the
it
right
depends
question?
on the mortal. If you're gonna rate humanity on a whole, I feel we are a solid 6.
11.
Also depends on your definition of interesting.
Oh, they're fascinating. Absolutely.
So, okay, well, I have this friend, and he's having this competition, and I think it would be good for you to do to, you know, mingle with the locals. Plus, I would love to get some dragon's mead.
Why do we need to mingle with the locals?
Well, because you're 1,500 years in the past and you completely are out of place.
That sounds like an argument for not mingling with the locals. That seems like it could go badly very quickly.
Well, you see, what could possibly go wrong?
He makes
Many,
a very
many
compelling argument, and I don't think we were too out of place earlier.
Except that no one spoke the language. That seems pretty out of place to me.
Real
I spoke the language, and so
You
did
were a
Kadra.
I think this is how one of those stories
Well,
started.
you see-
So what had happened was,
Yeah. So basically, right, you have an opportunity to participate in a night of entertainment. What could possibly go wrong?
See, I'm getting the feeling that we are the entertainment, and I don't think I like that.
see
Okay.
what could go wrong is that I could step on a bug and it could completely change all of history and yeah.
I want to do this. It'll be fun.
Oh, you want to do it? Okay, great. Let's. And you could feel him completely change course. You feel the basket tilt and his wings. You
All
can
good
see
stuff.
them as he completely changes course. And instead of heading continually east like you were meant to be, he starts heading directly south. And you feel the wind in the air around you grow a little colder as you see the climate sort of shift. And you come into a place much, much colder than the rest of Sumerkula has been so far.
I'm gonna lean over to Saga and just be like, so this is gonna be night 2, right?
Yep, it's gonna be a good time. We're gonna have fun.
Maybe you should talk to Falcor about what's going on.
I was just thinking I'll just hang out in the basket and you guys can do what you're gonna do and it'll be fine.
I really don't think you should be in the basket.
The basket's a magic basket.
Well, true.
Oh, I don't know that separating would be good at this point. Especially since we saw how being out of touch with somebody who can communicate with everyone wasn't very advantageous.
Yeah, that was
Guys, really? Have I led you wrong before?
We
It's gonna be
No.
great,
just
guys.
met
You guys go. You guys have fun with the dragon's friends, and I'll just hang out in the basket, and it'll be fine.
No. I promise all of you will be okay. All of you will be just fine.
I don't
Which-
recommend making promises you can't keep, Mr. Dragon. It's gonna be. I'm gonna hang out here, and it's gonna be okay.
See,
Is this related to why you were gone last night?
No.
I feel you're lying to me.
I definitely feel you're lying.
No, it's I am just my stomach hurts is all. It's fine.
Ulfie, please
Mm,
don't lie to us.
You don't have to sound so innocent and friendly when you say it like that.
I
Listen.
love my Ulfie.
Kadra's just munching on pocket bacon and watching.
Look, we're all friends here, and friends don't keep secrets.
Yeah.
We can't help you if you don't tell us.
I don't need help. I've got it under control. Kadra and I, we work together. It's a good team effort. It's fine.
What specifically is it that you have under control?
Well, okay. So
What happened was,
it's kind of a long story. But
Runa slides out her notebook.
sometimes I get at the moon, it just comes out sometimes, and sometimes it's full, and it makes my head kind of go a little bit crazy, and I turn into a
I'm sorry, what was that? You cut out. You turn into a what?
wolf. Yeah.
things get a little hairy.
Oh, how exciting!
So, are you hairy like me?
Yes, and I have a tail.
That's amazing.
That's awesome. I want to pet you.
No.
I don't know.
No, you don't.
See, I don't know how to do that yet, but there are other people who know how to turn to other animals, and I hear being a wolf in particular is so much fun. Now, mind you, they don't do it on specific nights, but
I am certain that it would be great if I had any control or knowledge of it. Mostly it just kind of comes out and gets really angry and tries to eat people. It's not particularly friendly, but that's what I'm trying to work on. That's Kadra and I, we have a goal. It's going to be okay. We're working on figuring out how to control it. That's the plan.
So you're not in control when you're furry?
No, not yet. I think so. There's this thing that happened in my tribe that kind of makes our tribe members think that we can control it, but we're really not sure. So that's kind of what I'm doing. Is I have ventured out, and I am working on it.
And when exactly does this happen? It's not every night, surely.
They're just full moon nights.
Oh, okay. So that was last night.
Yep.
Just the actual full moon, or several days around it? What are we talking about here?
DM. What's it like?
Repeat, please. Sorry, dog interruption.
Is the full moon like a thing that happens for several days in a row, or is it just one night a month?
Nah, just the one full night.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay, so
just the one. So we're good for tonight, I think. Hopefully.
that
Unless
was
the
what I
time-
was getting at.
It's pretty much essentially like once every 3 weeks you'll have a full moon.
Okay. But since it
Have
happened
you-
last night, tonight you're probably fine.
Yeah, but better safe than sorry. I don't know. This place is different from where we're from, so I would rather just be safe rather than sorry,
You feel a big whoosh of air around you as your basket sets down in a snowy mountain range in the center of several peaks, up very high where you couldn't get to if you were like trying to climb from the bottom, but in a place that looks like it gets landed in regularly. And you find yourselves at the entrance of a cave. Falcor gets this dragon smirk on his face as he like unhooks from the basket and says, "Okay, you kids have fun at your competition. I'll be back later. I'm getting that dragon meat I talked about." And he flies up and off. And
Goodbye.
you're left
Goodbye.
outside of this very large cave entrance.
Wait, did he say competition? I thought this was just mingling.
I heard competition.
Yes.
Well,
He definitely did. Yeah. I think he tried to gloss over it, but this is like dropping a small child in the middle of the woods and saying, "See you in a week."
I hope it's a competition about being cute. I bet I could win that.
I'm already out of the basket and at the entrance of this cave.
It depends what you bring to the table.
Okay.
As the voice slowly echoes deep from within the cave towards you.
Wait for me, Cora.
I'm sorry,
Like-
what just happened?
I grab Saga and we take off.
Oh man.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
So,
Weird scary voice is
who
coming
Did
are
through.
you
all
hear
of
that?
you? As the voice sort of echoes from all directions towards you all.
Hi, I'm Saga. I feel like I should probably just hang out in the basket. I'll see you later.
Nonsense.
No. Like-
You're more than welcome within.
Yeah.
Are we just
You
talking
friend
to a
of Falco's.
disembodied voice? Or do we see anyone? Or anything?
I don't think you'd see him yet. I
Okay.
would say.
Are you a friend of Falcor's?
Oh, yes, very much so. I do enjoy their presence. A quite enjoyable friend to chat with. I assume that they brought you here at the behest for my little competition.
Yes.
What's the competition about?
What's
well,
the prize?
that is up to you. The competition is one of entertainment. And are you folks like walking forward? I assume?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
oh,
am.
yeah.
Is it
No.
a baking competition? I'm really good at baking. I can knit
I'm really good
really
at bacon.
So as you're walking forward, I would say you're starting to feel a little bit warmer. You're starting to see more golden light coming from further down. It's very comfortable and warm. And you would hear the voice again. The competition is whatever you bring with you. I am always interested in new experiences, whether they be tales, poetry, art. Cooking is in fact a thing. I merely wish to see what you can provide and what can make me intrigued. And the most interesting or exciting thing I experience, you get to take one thing from my hoard, and it's yours to keep.
So the competition is to be the most interesting. I'm
Quite.
going to stay here with Saga. I'm quite boring.
Are we competing amongst each other, or will there be other contenders?
I did put the call out to others. We'll see whether anyone has shown up yet. At this point, I imagine you would enter the cave would sort of terminate, and you would enter into this rather warm, comfortable-looking, what must be library is the only real way to describe it. Everything's made out of a comfortable wooden, oaken sort of paneling. There's dozens of books lining the shelves in rows of 3, and on top of that bookshelf, it's almost like a walkway around to higher bookshelves, all beneath a somewhat moderately low vaulted ceiling. Like you're looking maybe like 3 or 4 feet, like 3 or 4 stories tall tops. And I'll leave that up to Huli. How many have shown up?
A handful of others. Not very talkative, very quiet. Couple of different races. You see another Leonin that looks like Athena. You see another sort of person who resembles Cora, just a slightly different color, and then an elf and a couple of humanoids.
Excellent. So a second or 2 passes, and you can hear the voice just from the distance, deeper within the library, as it sort of turns around. It's almost like a labyrinth in there. There's a number of tables scattered about, a few warm hearths set into the sides to keep moisture away from the books, which also have some comfortable rugs and chairs in front of them, all humanoid-sized, and the odd occasional lounging couch, which is made for something much bigger than a humanoid. And slowly, around the corner, you would see the image you see in front of you, this large, almost crystalline armored head slowly curve around the corner with thick, green ropey tendrils slowly draping across the ground as the head sort of hovers there. Hello, guests. Welcome. I am Arendar. It is a pleasure. Slowly inclines his head at you all, one by one. Introductions, if you please, all of you. I'm rather curious about my guests.
Hi, I'm Cora. Wonderful to meet you.
Cora. Lovely. A pleasure. And you all, as slowly turns his head to each of you in turn, waiting to see who speaks next. Eyes curious and glowing softly blue beneath the crystalline eye lens.
I'm Vex.
Vex. A pleasure.
I'm Kadra.
Delightful.
I'm Runa.
Pauses and looks at you and slowly inclines his head. Ooh, intriguing. Warforged, I believe, correct?
Indeed.
I don't see enough of you. It's a pleasure. Everyone else?
I'm Old Saga. I think I said that earlier. Hi.
Hello there. Well then, all of my guests, please, by all means, each in turn, and anyone else who needs to introduce himself, you would allow. But I imagine the others would introduce themselves eventually too.
Finka's gonna stand there with her arms crossed, looking very, very suspicious.
Oh, she's Finka. She's very shy. Don't worry, though.
I'm not shy. I'm Finka. I'm not shy. I'm suspicious, and I've been dragged around this continent by dragons a bit too long.
That is entirely fair. I'm not particularly keen on being made to go where I don't like. If you wish, you don't need to participate. Feel free to avail yourself of the comforts of my hall as long as you would like, at least for the duration of the competition. No one should be here without their say. That goes for the rest of you, too.
Something, I'll participate, but I'm not interesting. I'm not going to parade around for someone's entertainment.
Wait, you say you shoot?
Yes.
Oh, so are we speaking archery, spear throwing, axe throwing, sling work? Slowly begins, as he's saying this, small illusions are appearing next to him of each of the items as he's listing them one at a time, sort of looking at them in turn. What is your weapon of choice? I am quite intrigued now.
I use a longbow. Surely that's common enough as to be boring.
It depends who's wielding it, my friend. It depends who's wielding it. If you wish to enter as an archer, you're more than welcome to. I can provide you with a range, and you can regale us with your skill. But again, only if you're interested. I find it's not a very fun competition if the participants are unwilling, and I don't rather enjoy dragging those to my hall who don't wish to be here.
Come on, Finka, it'll be fun.
I can promise reward, at very least, if that perhaps sweetens the deal. After all, you can see my hoard all around you, and this library has more than books within it.
I'm tempted, but I'm going to look around at the girls. But do you remember the last time what happened when I gave in to peer pressure? Anybody remember that?
Absolutely
No,
not.
we don't remember that. That's the point.
You know, I'm just not sure that it's wise to reject the goodwill of this magnificent dragon man.
Yeah, you're probably right. All right, fine. But if any more of you end up extremely hungover in 6 hours, I'm going to be very mad.
It's gonna be fine. You worry too much.
You worry not enough.
Debatable.
Delightful. Well then, by all means, we shall set ourselves up a little bit of a stage to engage in this. Give me a moment to prepare. And slowly the head would crane back out of the way, disappear around the corner where you'd hear shuffling and screeching sounds. I imagine he'd probably leave you folks alone for about 5-10 minutes. As he slowly moves things in the distance, you could definitely hear he's shuffling entire rows of books and bookshelves, probably using his bulk to do so.
What's everyone gonna do?
Runa is already perusing the books.
I don't know yet. I'll figure it out at the time. It's
I have
gonna be great.
exactly one completely uninteresting skill.
I think it's pretty interesting. You're a really good shot, Finka.
Yeah, I have
Thank
to
you.
say, in many stories, feats of strength and prowess are often marked by some sort of tournament involving shooting a bow or other feats of training, and I think that could be a remarkable event.
I've certainly heard of events like that. It just didn't seem like that's what this was.
I don't think he's given us enough of guidance to know exactly what's going to strike his fancy. I think we're all just going to have to do our best and hope that it's what he's looking for.
One of you said you were looking at the bookshelves, if I might ask?
Oh, yes. Runa is in love with all things books, and she is slowly walking over to rub her middle fingers along the different spines and see if she can't pop open a book or two if it's possible.
All the books are, in fact, open to pick out and look through as you'd like. You see thousands of different books written by many authors, all of which you don't recognize, and some of which occasionally the title and the name seems to change. The one you have is one that is called Perpetual Motion Mechanics. There's another one, Songs of Sea Turtles. Another one, The Care and Breeding of Humans. And et cetera, ad nauseum, written by thousands of different titles.
Oh, she's going to pick up the Perpetual Motions and Mechanics and save the rest for her next perusing.
Ulfie, if you could turn tonight, that would be most interesting, I think, for most people.
Did you just call me Wolfie?
What?
Did you just call me Wolfie?
Nope. I think you just misheard me.
Well, the problem is, so I think that potentially in the future, once I have a better idea of what I'm dealing with, I might be able to maybe do it without a full moon, but I can't do that right now.
What if I just poked you like 1,000,000 times and got you really annoyed?
Well, anger is what did it for my cousin, and I feel like that's probably, it would maybe work. I don't know. We could try.
Also, I don't know if this would work, but our host displayed a bit of magical ability. I think those were illusions that were floating around a minute ago. Do you think simulated full moonlight would do the trick?
I don't know. I've never tried.
If you really want to do that for the competition, our host might be able to help you. I don't know, but it's possible. It's worth the ask.
I don't know. I feel like if we're gonna plan for something like that, that's a lot. I feel like if we're gonna plan for something like that, some safety measures should be put in place because I am not safe to be around when
Well,
I'm like.
I can be there to spar with you and to keep your attention focused on me as much as possible, like normal.
We might be able to get assurances from our host as well on that.
You'll be fine. Ulfie
It's up to you, though.
is-
If you're not comfortable, then don't do it.
Right, because
I mean,
I'm just treating it like any other night.
The whole idea is for us to, for me and Kadra to figure out how to get me to learn how to control it, right? That's,
Right.
you know, this
Could
might
be good
an opportunity.
practice.
And I can just heal us up afterwards from all of our scrapes and cuts when we're done.
Okay, we can try.
So, Runa, you said you're still perusing the books as you're speaking, correct?
Yes, absolutely. She's trying to do her best to flip through the books and take them in as quickly as possible and hopes to commit some of it to memory that she can write it down later.
Okay. Make me a perception roll. Thanks to Holy, by the way, for letting me do this.
Absolutely. Oh, that's
And also, hey, chat, I would be talking in there. I'm just not verified. I'm sorry. I can't do it. Love you all.
That was perception?
Yes.
That's a 17.
Wonderful. You're starting to notice a pattern on the shelves. While there is a large esoteric collection of books, this is a huge library, and you're literally, in the time you've been talking, you've been able to probably walk like up and down one of the rows, but you can see when you like look around the corner and occasionally see Arendar's massive moonstone dragon body, like about the size of a couple I'd say carriages, probably like back to back, like covered wagons, shuffling down in the distance. This library just seems to keep going on. So you can imagine how many thousands of books there are in this place. What you have noticed is that despite how esoteric and like kind of all over the place the collection is, there's a recurring theme of fiction and a lot also of stories. A lot of tall tales, and you even see like the odd non-fiction biography. But they all seem to be fantastic stories. Clearly, he has an ear for that kind of thing. He seems to really like tales, and the more crazy from what you can see, the more he seems to like it. You get the feeling this is the sort of person that will pick up a lot of novellas that have like Fabio on the cover because he's that kind of shameless, enjoys those stories.
A few trashy paperbacks. Is that what we're saying here?
Oh, in addition to many in hardback, but yes, very much so. There's a large amount of fiction and nonfiction stories, but you see a lot of that recurring storytelling. And there's also a number of books that talk about legends, tales, and stories of other peoples, including one that says tales yet to be told and never told by, and the title, like whoever the author is, literally depending on what angle you look at the book, changes, and the pages constantly be writing themselves and erasing themselves. So
Runa is in heaven. She's absolutely loving this. This is a dragon after her own non-existent heart, and she's going to clink, 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 excitedly make her way back to the party, and she's going to say, I know we've been tasked to intrigue this dragon, and we've been discussing what we might have in mind. Let me tell you a bit about what I have found in their personal library. And I'm going to kind of describe to them the types of books that I've been seeing and how a lot of them are fiction stories of great tales and fantastical moments, and hope that I don't know. I think the bigger the better. I think with some fantasy or some intrigue, we might be able to turn this one's head. I think I have just the story.
I have an idea too, but you tell me your idea first.
I have this wonderful story about Loki. He's fantastic. If out of anybody who's going to pull off some fantastical mischief that might catch his eye, that would be a character. He turns into a horse at one point and ends up with a multi-legged foal as a result of it. It's very interesting.
Yeah, but Ulfie turns into a wolf.
Absolutely. I didn't know if they were going to make us perform together or separately.
Well,
I don't see why we would be able to perform separately.
Here's my idea. What if Runa tells our story so far and we just reenact everything we've done up until this point, so we're all taking part, basically?
I have all the notes for that story. I can do. Yes.
Okay, but are we going to include the very tiny ghost?
Yes, and we'll have Osaga play the very tiny ghost.
Yeah. Osaga, darling. I think we established there was no tiny ghost.
There was. I'm certain of
it. It was a tiny regular person.
Almost ready. Give me one moment. You hear a large boom in the distance as what has to be an entire shelf of books falls over, along with a string of curses in Draconic that are far too floral and complete for me to say on stream. And eventually another moment, and I'll be ready. My apologies. I'm a little... I'm in the process of resizing some of these shelves and getting some better handles on them. It's not so easy for someone who weighs a couple of tons with an NNES at the end to move these things, so pardon the large clanking in the distance. I promise I know what I'm doing. And slowly, you can see his head was slightly peeking over some of the shelves as he ducks back down again.
Number one, I didn't know that those were words that you could put together in Draconic. Number two, it would just be funny to have the Saga be a tiny little ghost, though, or reenact being a tiny little ghost.
I absolutely will not deny that would be entertaining. Absolutely.
I feel in my soul like I was born for this part.
All
I
right.
won't argue.
I am finally ready. And as he says this, you could see the wooden floor panels underneath you flip, literally they're all on switches to the other side, which makes this very pretty red carpet on the other side of it, leading down a hallway, clearly indicating which way to go.
Okay.
Shall we?
On we go.
Strut this red carpet, ladies. Strut this red carpet.
The floor feels weird. Feels very weird.
You look at it closer, it looks like red grass. It's not actually fur. It's a very soft, warm red grass on the other side.
Oh, I have no idea what red is.
Oh dear.
Runa's just gonna grab her by the shoulders. This way, dear. Follow the grass.
It's just grass, Cora. It's okay.
It feels different, though.
It's angry grass.
It's inside grass. However that works, I don't know.
Yeah, I believe the word you're looking for is turf. It's turf.
I was going to say, it's astroturf.
You can make grass inside. Oh, this changes everything.
Eventually,
this
when
should-
you get to the end of this path, you see a massive chamber, which is, it sort of stretches upward, and above your head is this colossal domed structure, which seems to be a very dark tinted, almost like indigo glass. And above and beyond, you can see the stars moving rather beautifully, even though it was just day. It seems like it's nighttime within here. And also you can see the edges of the room are lined with many dozens of chairs, stools, what have you, and a small raised stage. And sitting on a couch, much like the one you saw earlier, is Arendar, who is in his full bulk, finally revealed. His whole body is armored, but slender. And unlike other Moonstone dragons, if anyone is familiar with tales of them, he has none of that green grass-like hair on him. He appears to mostly be just polished crystalline armor and a pair of bright glowing blue eyes. His mouth almost completely obscured by the plates of his face. And he smiles beneath. You can see the teeth slightly curl up in the dark beneath his plating. And he gestures with one large hand to the stage. So, who wishes to go first?
So, are we doing this individually, or do you want like a group thing?
Whoever has something worth sharing or a tale worth telling, by all means, do not hesitate. The worst thing that'll happen is you just won't go back up. Simple as that. And then he slowly turns his head towards the other guests arrayed as well. And no one will laugh at anyone else. If you contribute on this stage, as far as I'm concerned, it's an act of bravery. Anyone who trivializes that, you will answer to me. Am I clear on that?
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Scary Dragon Man.
Yes,
Perfect.
Mr. Arendar.
Delightful. Excellent, then, as he cranes his head back and sort of smiles. So, how about you, as he points towards one of the NPCs in the background?
So, the little guy gets up and goes on the stage. He's a little elf. And he goes up on the stage and he does a dance. He doesn't. He mimes for you. And he has gray fake wings on his back, and he has a very dull gray tunic, and he just starts miming different shapes and signs and things and such of the sort. Very entertaining, where he rolls a 17 on his performance check.
Ooh, delightful. Arendar's literally watching one giant talon underneath his chin held up, much like the Thinker, watching with great intensity as this plays out. Then afterwards, he just sort of like does a little golf clap with his massive paws. Excellent, delightful. I don't see very much in the way of the art of silent movement. So, well done, my friend, by all means. And he sort of gestures off the stage where at one of the chairs is now, some point, has appeared a small tray which appears to have a thing of mead and also what appears to be some kind of roasted meat on it. It smells rather delicious.
He very showy. He does like a very exaggerated exit off the stage, a very deep bow, some hand gestures and movements, things of the such. And he plops himself down in the chair afterwards and starts to eat the meat and drink the mead.
So then, who's next? As the dragon's head cranes over everyone.
Not it.
I can go. I can go if no one else wants to.
By all means. And
Have at it, Cora.
Okay. She will go.
the dragon cranes his head towards you, and you can feel his presence get closer as he whispers quietly, would you need a hand finding the stage? I didn't quite consider accommodating those who may not have the gift of sight in the construction of this place.
No. I think I can do this.
Okay. He pulls his head back and reclines. by all means.
Okay, she's gonna get up on stage. Long ago, when the world was still new, before people were brought into existence, there lived several siblings, and this is when she starts making very liberal use of druidcraft.
Ooh, interesting.
We have the oldest of the siblings, Set, and you see like this almost creature like start to grow, made out of different wildflowers as the Set kind of fills the air. Taste was came next, and you see vines start to form and then grapes start to slowly just produce on them. You had Sound next, and here you start to see like the swirling form, and you just hear like the sound of wind blowing through the trees. And Touch. And here you start to see like this thorny thing start to form, and now they all lived in peace and harmony. All was well in this world. However, there was one more sibling, one they preferred not to talk about. That was Vision, and you just see this weird combination of plants that seem to almost have flowers that look like eyes all over the body start to form. For some reason, Vision didn't quite enjoy the harmony his siblings enjoyed. He preferred to sit there and speak unmentionable truths, doing everything he can to pit his siblings against each other. And as she talks, you see the eye thing start to like wander to all the siblings, and soon enough you see them almost starting to argue amongst each other, just complete and absolute chaos. And through all of this, the world wasn't exactly able to handle what was going on, and you just see things start like natural disasters slowly forming around. Eventually, though, they realized the truth that Vision was purposely pitting them against each other. And so they came together and vanished Vision off into the deepest, darkest edges of the world. And with that, harmony was returned. All was well. And they learned that sometimes things aren't always what they seem. That's all I really have for you.
Arendar slowly cranes his head up, and you can see his razored silvered teeth grinning, or I should say, the party can broadly see his teeth grinning beneath his plating, and a very hearty set of claps. Very well told. A wonderful tale, and an interesting fable. I very much appreciated the perspective. And he slowly extends a hand out to the front of the stage to provide you a stepping place to go down from it on.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. She
My
will
pleasure.
just calmly come back down.
Thank you very much for the tale. And slowly he would move his hand over towards a chair and bring it down level, and you can smell something rather delicious. What's your character's favorite food?
Oh.
That includes from the time before, by the way.
I actually have this written down somewhere, I believe. Give it 2 seconds. Bucket bacon.
Ooh.
No. No, that's your favorite food. Cora. What does Cora like? Because I had this all written down. Da-da-da-da-da. We are getting there. Okay, she actually loves blueberries.
Lovely. There's a whole platter of blueberries there, freshly washed, picked, and they all seem to be quite in season, regardless of what season it is. And there's a comfortable little couch there for you to rest on. Slowly, Arendar cranes his head back up. Does anyone else wish to regale a tale or provide a display of skill or something to entertain the rest of us? Your meals will be served after the trials are done or after your performance, whichever happens first, in case that wasn't obvious, as he gestures to the our friend the mime and Cora's nice seated, warm, comfy food positions.
Runa will step forward. I may have a tale.
Oh. Well, by all means then, the stage is yours.
So, in hearing that they wanted to initially maybe run together and do their story together, that was sparked the idea for Runa to change her plan a little bit. So she's going to shuffle forward and take center stage, and you'll see as her arms raise to begin to tell the story, certain little pocket joints and whatnot kind of pop out and expose some of her joints so that you can see that there are gears and music box elements in her, all in her arm. And so she begins to play music along to the background as she casts prestidigitation, and it begins to chill in the room and to lightly snow. And she begins to tell the story of walking out into the ice storm inn, where she met all of the members of her party, and how when she met them, she was originally frozen and could not quite move. And by seeing all of their friendship and their warmth towards each other, she felt like she might be able to stick with this group, as she is in search of such stories that warm your heart and give you courage. And she's heard many an older tale, but was looking for new heroes. And she weaves the story of their traveling across the land. And though their friendship is new and tentative, they were able to rely on each other and face the adversity, from everything to battle, to time travel, to being locked up in cages, to finding themselves at a dragon's door.
Interesting. First, make me a performance roll. And also, by the way, Cora, if you could do one retroactively for me. As well as also, I have a question for you, Runa. How in detail do you go to both from your time traveling escapades and of the world before? Okay. Good to know. You might be muted, Runa.
My apologies. I would have started off leaving my home, and which my maker and I had lived solo for quite some time, and in search of these new stories had gotten lost, and then found myself lost not only in the woods, but suddenly in a blizzard as well. And so the beginning would have been a little glossed over on my portion of the story, but my coming into the storm and then finding everybody. And I would have gone through with some details in the earlier story. It was the strangeness of everything that really kind of glued us together at first.
Okay. What is your performance role?
That's good. So that is an 18.
Excellent. The entire time that you're telling your tale, first off, Arendar seems mystified by your music box-like construction. He was already intrigued by a construct person walking through his library, but a construct person made of so many cool little moving parts and with so many interesting little components, not to mention ones that are beautiful and that make wonderful music and provide interesting little details here and there. Yes, you had him wrapped the entire time. You probably could have noticed as you were telling the tale, his long neck was craning forward further and further until his head was basically a foot from the actual stage as he was watching. You definitely had him wrapped around your finger during the performance. So he leans his head back up. That tale was something special. I have many things to ask you about that one after the performance, regardless of who wins. But I will admit, I rather enjoyed that one. Would it be all right if I were to commit that one to the library?
It would be my honor. I would definitely love to share stories with you and to have it reside here. Yes, I think, and she gestures to everyone in her cohort. I definitely think that they belong in your halls.
Delightful, then. I'll get right to it. And the dragon snaps two of the digits on one of his paws, and you can see a scroll slides out from the wall, and a small quill leaps out of an inkwell off the top shelf, and they immediately begin scrawling at high speed what has to be a manuscript from his perspective of what he witnessed. I will definitely get in contact with you about writing more of that. And he brings his hand up to the stage to provide you a step to step down onto. And there is a couch and a table, and if your character enjoys food in any capacity, the food would be there, whatever it may or may not be. And if not, there will be probably a hot, warm towel and something that can be used to polish yourself if you need.
I believe it's Runa's newfound favorite food is soup.
Yes, correct. I had a brand new experience recently. Soup is amazing.
Delightful. It would be your favorite variety of soup. Comfortably hot, not so hot that it's undrinkable, but not so cold that it's, too cool to be considered warm. Arendar would slowly turn his head across the room and see if anyone else was interested in stepping onto the stage.
From the back of the crowd of other NPCs, you see a couple that had arrived sort of late. Fashionably late, of course, because their, dragon friend dropped them off too late. And it is a tree person. They are tall and lengthy, and they have blue butterfly wings, and they have a large sort of leafy hair, sort of kind of I don't know if you would describe it that way. But they have a little squirrel companion riding on their shoulder, and they come up on the stage, and they're very quiet. They don't speak much, and the noises that they make are sort of like creaks and groans and bristles through their leaves. They have some gold ribbons sort of hanging through their leaves and wrapped around their limbs and stuff. But they seem to be doing a performance, like little squirrel performances with their friend across the stage. And the only really words you can hear them make out is squeak, squeakiter, squeak, squeakin'. And they roll a 13 on their performance.
Delightful. The whole time Arendar is watching and just sort of bouncing his head side to side as they're doing their performance, keeping an eye on it. And eventually he lowers his hand down to get them off the stage, and with a grin produces a bunch more chairs. In this case, a couple of squirrel-sized chairs as well, with a single tiny little metal platter in front, each containing a single nut for the squirrel to enjoy, along with whatever food the treekin would like best, probably some combination of fertilizer or just at least nice, clear spring water for them.
Oh, they graciously accept, and their little squirrel friend goes to eating the nuts like a champ, and they just relax and drink their water. Feet kicked up, everything arm draped over the back of their chair, legs stretched out, totally just laid back hippie.
Perfect. Well then, I offer the stage to anyone who wishes to ride up to the top one more time. If everyone is done, we can move on. But if anyone is curious at providing us with a little more, by all means, I won't turn my nose away from a good tale or an interesting display of skill.
A question?
Yes.
Is it possible for you to create the first night of a full moon moonlight that's quite real?
Arendar looks down at you at the question, raising one pleated semi-metal eyebrow. An interesting question. And he slowly stands up. Everyone out there, all of you, feel free to make perception rolls if you'd like. And let me know if you made over a 20 by any chance.
Finka's got a 21.
20 on the dot for Runa.
Nice. Excellent.
Oh, is this
I got-
sight-based?
This is perception generally speaking. So for the record,
Sure.
Cora, you would be able to make this.
Okay.
24, Kadra 2.
Vexa got a 22.
Very nice one.
Okay.
23.
So, okay.
I
Just to
got
make-
an 18.
An 18. Okay. So just to make sure I got this, Vex, Kadra, Runa, Cora, Finka, all of you got over 20.
Well, I got 20 on the dot, so.
Okay, you got 20 on the...
Same for Runa.
Yeah. So, okay. You got 2-0, and then plus X, the X being 0 in this case will count. That's fine. Damn. Okay. I wasn't expecting that. So,
I told you this group was something.
yeah, no kidding. So, as Arendar slowly stands up, for those of you with the gift of sight, you actually sort of see the edge of his body as he's standing, like the crane of his neck, seems to fuzz a little bit. And in fact, everything seems to fuzz a tiny little bit. It's like only the blink of an eye. But like for a second, it's almost like it loses definition. Like someone drawing the image with a crayon briefly. Cora, for you, for a brief second, everything you're feeling becomes a little fuzzy. And you can almost feel like the ground feels a little bit less like grass and a little more like stone for a second. But it's gone in a wink. I would say probably Finka, most of all, you would notice it for sure. That like, it's probably because of the fact that you are kind of suspicious to begin with. You're looking for something. You probably notice there's something going on here, and it's not. Things aren't what they seem to be, for sure. There's some illusion work at play, but you're not sure what it is.
Gotcha.
That information is yours to do with as you please. As the dragon slowly sits back on his haunches and holds a hand out, and you hear this little sound like the lighting of a match, and then a soft roar as he opens his hand, and a glowing white orb rises out of it like caged fire. He slowly lets it float up to the top of the chamber where the stars are, and he closes his hand, and the fire constricts itself into a shape not unlike stone, pockmarked and clear, and it is eventually a pretty solid miniature replica of a moon hovering in midair. As the dragon slowly cranes his head back down, that should have the properties.
Does Ulfsaga feel the effect of it?
Yes, you should, 100%. It is true moonlight.
Oh,
So
boy.
pretty.
That happened a lot faster than I thought it was going to. Okay, so quick story, backstory, just because everybody wants a little bit of perspective. And then, like, you can kind of see Ulfsaga straining a little bit. She's, like, really trying to hold it back a little bit, and she's stepping as far away from other people and kind of pulling Kadra with her. A little bit of backstory. So my grandmother is named Angerboda. She is the mother of the bringers of Ragnarok, and as a punishment, the gods punished her by turning all of the women that are born to her into wolves. And generationally, this curse has lived on. My mother only had me, and I am not having children because of this curse. And as she kind of finishes off that last little bit, she is going to just kind of let go and turn into a wolf in front of you guys.
And Kadra will be directly in front of her, sword and shield, ready to spar with her like they do on a normal moonlit night.
She grows another like 2 feet, and her whole body is covered in like the dark, like auburn hair that she has.
Vex, having absolute complete faith in her bestie Ulfi, is going to hop forward and try to like pet you / hug you, because she's just very excited.
I have absolutely no control over what is happening right now, so it's going to be up to Huli.
So what we'll do is we'll have you roll a concentration, like a constitution check of Saga, and a wisdom check.
And Kadra's ready to jump in and stop anything from happening if it starts.
Yeah, Runa.
I am ready to
help as well.
I'm ready to restrain you with an entangle if I have to.
Constitution is 19, and just a second. Wisdom +1. Wisdom is 4. Wisdom was 15.
Okay, so you were able to enough of Vex's childlike innocence is able to come through in her attempt to hug you / pet you, that you're able to in a momentary grasp of your personal conscience, able to not hurt her. But very quickly, like as soon as she lets go, very quickly after that, you're snarling and back to sparring with Kadra.
As this is happening, Arendar is watching from his couch, enthralled by the transformation, and slowly, like, stepping off of his couch and approaching as he sort of takes one hand and gently puts it by the other guests and pushes out. And as he does, the chairs and the tables that they're all in front of slide, like these just gently slide out of the way, making only that soft sound of like wood on wood chair being dragged across a library where, of course, it's going to be quieter and, more noticeable than ever. As they move gently out of the way, and Arendar slowly treads forward and then lowers himself down to where his head is eye-line with Ulfsaga. And he slowly looks at the rest of the party, just says, "Would you be so kind as to give me just a moment? I'd rather like to interact with them directly. I promise you, I am in no danger, and neither is anyone else here, despite what they might be capable of."
Kadra takes
I
a
will
couple of
move
steps
up
back.
and I'm going to move up and sort of grab Vex and sort of pull her back with me.
She just needs a hug.
Maybe, but she can bite your face off, so let's maybe wait on the hug.
So, so everyone is moving back?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Arendar slowly rises onto his back legs and begins to stand and straighten. And as he does, his body begins to sort of slightly rearrange itself a little bit. You can hear like the clicking of vertebra changing posture as he becomes pretty much almost humanoid by the stance of him. and he begins to shrink with an exhale as he literally just breathes out. And like a balloon deflating, his size shrinks from, I believe, a young dragon in this case starts out as, I want to say, large. So he goes from large to medium very swiftly until he's about the same size as Ulfsaga in their form. And slowly just strides forward and holds a hand out to Ulfsaga and says, Ulfsaga, speak. And he puts a hand onto Ulfsaga's fur. And I want you to try to make me a wisdom save.
Let me pull up what that is real quick.
Finka definitely has her dagger loose on her belt right now, just in case any shenanigans happen.
That's fair.
13.
Okay. And give me 1 second on my end. And that is perfect. So, Ulfsaga, when you're transformed, you are sort of suppressed, right? You have this animalistic instinct that's layered on top of you that sort of does its own thing, and you have to fight your way to the surface, right?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay. It feels like someone plunged their hands into a pool and pulled you to the surface. You have full control over your body and can speak normally while his hand is on you. You are not controlled by the bestial side of your nature at the moment.
But I still look like a wolf?
Yeah.
What the actual fuck did you just do to me?
Sorry,
Sorry,
Deborah
that was inappropriate.
just drops her shield in shock.
That what just happened? I don't understand what's happening.
An interesting experiment. You say it's a curse. And Arendar slowly walks around you as you reply.
It is. The gods put it on my family generations ago.
Do you know what I
How
find
are you doing this?
Do you know what I find funny about tales of gods and curses? Almost every single person that a god curses inevitably uses that curse to their advantage. As he's slowly strutting around you, leaning down, his eyes sort of like eye level with you now. You can see like there's a gleam behind his eye. As far as I'm concerned, this is merely a tool you're learning to leverage. You may yet one day master this, and at very least, I trust you to be able to steer it. You are not cursed. You are gifted. It is a double-edged sword. You just need to learn how to hold it. I'm not quite sure the nature of this curse, but as he sort of like moves his hand across your back, and you can feel your emotions slightly shift. Like, again, it's like he's holding your subconsciousness above this. It's still down there. It's like treading water. It's not, you're not going to fall in. You're a kid being held by a lifeguard, or like being held up by like floaties. But you get the distinct feeling that if you were to let go, you would dive back under again. I don't know exactly how it works, but maybe in time you can master it.
I mean,
and
to be fair, neither do I.
Fair. I apologize if this has been inconvenient or uncomfortable for you. This was meant to be a contest of interest and intrigue. I'd never meant to put you on display like this.
Not at all. Honestly, this has been very enlightening. The reason I left my village, all of the women in my village are like this. And the reason I left is so that I could venture off and figure out how to do this exactly.
Arendar smiles, and I want you specifically, Ulfsaga, to make a perception roll.
What is my perception?
Kadra, is she all right?
She's fine. This is Ulfie. She's just furry.
Vex is trying to get to Ulfie right now.
Yeah, I think I'm not gonna let you.
23 is my roll.
Perfect. So, as a werewolf or as a shifter of some sort, you are, when you're in this form, you have access to all the wolf's senses: smell, taste, hearing, as well as sight. What's weird is that you don't smell anything. Like, up until now, you smelled everything pretty normally. Things have been relatively straightforward. But here, in this moment, right now, the wolf smells nothing. This whole chamber is a void of smell. It's like it doesn't exist. None of this exists. And beneath the wolf's senses, your vision sort of superimposed on it. It's almost like it's wireframe. Like all it is light. And sort of Arendar leans in, his eyes widen, noticing something. He leans in and just whispers in your ear, "I apologize. Please. Let's keep the fun going for the moment.
Still don't totally understand what's happening, but suddenly everything is gone."
Let's return you to your prior form. I feel that we have had a fun time enough with this, and I think we can go back to more casual means of engagement. And as he does, the moon just poofs out, and it's no longer moon. It's no longer, full moon. It's whatever normal moon cycle it would be.
You kind of see Ulfsaga just kind of shrink down and crumble back into her regular form, and she's like sitting on the form trying to like gather up and cover up, because in that whole instance it's very likely that she lost her clothes and not in a room full of people. She wasn't.
Quadra tries to shield her with the shield, but there's a lot more Ulfsaga than there is Quadra.
Arendar slowly grows to full size, and his bulk interposes between Ulfsaga and the other arrayed non-party members.
Boy, I love that happened a lot more quickly than I had expected. Apologies. Hope it was a good show.
Ulfie, are you okay?
Oh yeah, that was great. I mean, I was pretty concerned about Vex there for a second. It's a little fuzzy, but I feel like she came up to me, and that was not very good, Vex. Not a safe choice.
But you didn't hurt me.
You were very lucky.
Within my halls, no harm can come to anyone else here without my say-so. So, you were all, I promise, safe and sound.
Well, that's good to hear.
Well.
All right, then. I guess I'm up next.
By all means, the stage is yours. And he slowly slinks back over to the couch, giving Ulfsaga a knowing nod. By the way, your sense of smell is back now. And things seem as real as they were before.
Sweet.
Oh, also, I'm gonna, let's see. What would be a role you would like to use for your performance role? Because I imagine performance might not be your highest stat. Or better yet, make me performance, but use wisdom as the base. So roll your die, use performance for the modifier, and then add your proficiency to it.
Does she have advantage since I was up there helping her?
I think that's fair. Yeah. It was a hell of a show. So, like, 3 or 4 of you just medieval times in the middle of this place, but with a werewolf instead of a knight. So yeah, I think that's fair.
Sweet. So I rolled a 13 plus, you said, so plus my wisdom?
Yes, you basically use your wisdom as the base instead of your charisma.
Right. Okay. So that would be a +3, so 16.
Okay. Excellent. All right. So, Arendar seems quite intrigued by everything. I'm not so sure whether entertained is the word, but definitely intrigued by all of you for sure at this point. So who was the next one going up, and is anyone else going to be going up after them?
I'm up next.
Okay. Arendar would gesture towards the stage, and if you need, offer you a leg up.
What exactly would you like me to shoot at?
Are you more of a target shooter, or are you more of a combat archer?
I hunt. So, neither?
You hunt, then. Interesting. What's your
Finka.
favorite prey?
You could try to hunt me.
It won't be necessary.
That sounds terrible.
He said no one can get hurt.
Yes, but
Yeah,
just
but
because
that's
that's
not
the
him.
case doesn't mean I want to test that. Or for that matter, encourage fratricide among friends.
Indeed.
Oh, what if we go up and we all have apples on our head? Would that work?
With Finka's permission, that would be quite
Oh.
plausible, and no one would be able to be harmed again.
Sure.
So be it. By all means, he would. You'd hear a thump thump on the ground as he stamps one of his feet, and in front of the stage, you would see a bunch of the planks rotate diagonally and slide up to make stairs leading up to it to allow more than one person to go up at a time. And every person who wants to walk up, he would provide them with an apple, which he seems to pull from nowhere, like Hammer Space, from I would say out of a sleeve, but he doesn't wear clothing. So.
Vex is going to grab 2 apples.
Theory's gonna stand up and happily take one and walk up.
Rune is grabbing an apple.
I'll grab an apple.
All right.
Finka's going to grab one and take a bite out of it because she's hungry.
Whatever your favorite
Shooting on an
flavor
empty
of
stomach
apple
is
is,
a terrible idea.
whatever your favorite flavor of apple is, the second you touch the apple, which starts off as bright red, it would change color and texture to whichever one you like.
Kadra will also
Mine is
grab an
definitely
apple.
bright green now.
Beautiful. So, once you're all on stage with your respective apples, which one of you took 2 apples again? That kind of cut out on my end. It's not your fault. It's my mic.
I did. I took 2.
Okay.
I'm gonna hold them with my ears.
Oh, I love it. I love that, actually. He's going to array everyone to stand in a straight line. And at the very end, he's going to himself shrink down until he's, again, humanoid height, and himself stand at the very end with an apple between his wings. And then sort of just gesture to Finka. Whenever you're ready, I am rather curious to see how this goes.
All right. No pressure, right?
You can do it.
You'll be fine. You're very good at this.
Make me an attack roll.
I'm just gonna start on the far left and work my way down, drawing and shooting as quickly, sort of quick draw Legolas style as possible.
Can Kadra be bobbing up and down to give you some movement to aim for?
You bitch.
So everyone's currently on the stage with an apple, correct? Everyone here?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right. So that means I'm going to have you make an attack roll 6 times, and then 1 attack roll at -2. And then at the very end, you're going to make a separate attack roll for Arendar after all the others are done. So let me know what the results are, one after another.
All right. Sorry. How many normal ones? 6?
Yeah, 1 for a member of your party besides Kadra, who has made this more difficult.
Sorry,
Kadra,
not
who is
sorry.
being a bitch. All right, here we go. That's shit. What's my attack? Okay. Roll number 1 is an 18.
Nice. Okay.
Roll number 2 is a 16.
Nice.
Roll number 3 is a 22.
Nice.
Ooh. Roll number 4 is a natural 1.
Ooh, okay.
Sorry, whoever that was. That's a total of 7 if it matters. That was
All
4,
right.
right? Yeah. Ooh,
Say wait, that's
roll number.
Kadra.
No, we're not to Kadra yet. Roll number 5 is a 25.
Excellent.
Roll number 6 is a natural 20.
Damn. Okay. Now you're going. So that last one was the one for Kadra, which is exactly the one you want the perfect roll for. Now, so I'm willing to say that your arrow hits its mark 5 times as apples get skewered one by one, and the natural 20, despite Kadra's up, down, slings right through it, and it flies sailing across the stage and neatly plocks it on the bottom, splitting it in half. However, I'm going to say the one that was aimed at, we'll say, Runa, would miss and go right into Runa, and then effortlessly pass through like mist onto the other end where it sticks very real into the ground.
Sorry, sweetie. And then, like, after I hit the one that Kadra is bobbing up and down with, as I draw the next arrow, my middle finger is up like the whole time.
I love it.
And now you.
Yep. Now me.
Another just regular attack roll.
Correct.
I'm going to use a special die for this one because
You can see he actually has the apple, like, at this point. He had it in between his wings, but he sort of like uses his wings to gently stick it on the tip of his horn that comes out of the back of his head. So it's kind of like very nice and neatly removed, like at the end of a kebab.
Okay, that's a little bit adorable. All right, here we go. Special liquid core die.
I want to see that art now.
Ooh. Liquid core.
Okay, that's not terrible. 16.
Excellent. So as you shoot that last one across the stage, it races towards the apple. And then you see as swift as the wind, one of his claws comes up and catches it midair before it hits the apple. But you can see from the path it was going to, like, it was going to hit it. And he just gently looks at it, smiles, and then gently lets it follow the rest of its path as he lets it go. And it picks up speed again and goes through the apple slowly as he takes it off of his horn and looks at it as the arrow's still going through it, now in a different direction. Like he kind of paused its motion, now has restarted it again. Well, now. Oh, here's a good
That
shot.
was an interesting bit of trickery.
Why, thank you. I try. As he pulls the arrow out backwards and then gently holds it up, and like it was being unfired, it gently returns to your hand to where it was knocked in the bow. And he takes a bite out of the apple. That was excellent archery. Very well done. Color me quite impressed.
Thank you.
You say you're not a target archer. I find that hard to believe. I imagine you'd be a fearsome combatant as well. Thank you for your demonstration. He would gently gesture off the stage for everyone who wishes to go.
I'm going to continue eating my apple and continue flipping Kadra off.
Kadra's gonna elbow you. See, like, I've seen you hunt. You had this.
Well, unless anyone has anything else they wish to provide, I believe we have our winners. But any last entrants are willing and able? By all means, the stage is yours. So he swings his head around the room to see if any of the NPCs or any other player characters are interested in performing.
You can kind of see that, like, Vex is standing over to the side, and she maybe wants to go, but she also seems to be, like, vibrating with fear and anxiety because she doesn't trust herself not to mess things up.
Saga, I'm assuming, probably sees that and is gonna like walk up to her and like put her hand on her shoulder and like give her just like a little push. Like, you can do this. It's okay. It was kind of fun.
And of course, you don't have to.
Well, so she's going to walk up on the stage, and out of her little pouch, she's going to take the beautiful rune stones that she made out of the magical deer antlers.
Oh, yeah.
And she's going to start her little rune casting ritual. However, in her anxiety, she kind of drops them and casts Mage Hand to attempt to pick them up. And Huli.
Vex, darling, do you need an assistant?
No.
You're doing great. You're doing great. You're amazing. Keep going.
I'm okay. I'm okay. And so she's gonna cast her runes, and you're gonna see kind of like a worried expression come on her face as she looks at Arendar and says, you know what? I don't think these work on dragons."
Arendar's face slowly shifts its expression. And he slowly stands up and from the couch and leans his head onto the stage so it's closer to you. It is big. Again, he's like the size of 2 carriages back to back. And the head itself is probably the size of a person by itself. Sort of leans in and whispers, and you can tell, like, by whispering, I mean, he's actually casting minor illusion so he can speak directly to you quietly. Because his jaws are too big to make anything less than a booming voice. Tell me, is it that they don't work on me? Or are you worried what they may say?
I don't think you want to know what they say.
Arendar smiles and looks at her a little more closely, and you can see the eye, which is about the size of a bowling ball to you, bright and blue, and its expression softens a little bit. Vex, was it?
Yes.
We all die, Vex. One day. I'm not worried about it. If you need to tell me it, or you wish to, you may. If you don't, no pressure. But you intrigue me with this. If you won't show it to me on stage, will you do so quietly for me later? I would be very much enamored by that.
Yes, I think that would be better.
Thank you. If that's the case, then, you need not perform. I appreciate you offering, though. Slowly, he leans his head back. Well, for that, we're going to simply say that it was a worthy and noble effort, and I cannot wait to see it at some point in the future. Thank you, Vex, for your offering. It is appreciated, as he inclines his head graciously.
You're welcome. And then she's gonna like bolt off the stage faster than you've ever seen her move, ever.
At the bottom, by the way, at this point, everyone's food has spawned in, so whatever food you like, whatever chair you find most comfortable, it's there. And it's quite comfortable and toasty, with large warm blankets there and food, the whole 9 yards, cooked as well as you've ever had it. So, feast and relax, my friends. I shall retire for a moment to contemplate these many worthy entrances. And thank you all for your participation. I am quite thrilled and can't wait to hold the next one. Please, entertain yourselves for a moment. You have the run of my library, and you hear a flapping sound as he slowly, beats his wings once, and he leaps from his couch straight up through the glass. Not shattering it, literally through it, like it's mist, and he's gone.
Anyone else get the impression that there's something else going on here?
Ulfsaga has the Finka's arrow and the apple that's attached to Finka's arrow and 5 or 6 cupcakes just lined up on it like it's like a skewer, and her mouth is stuffed full, and she's like, oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's something. It's weird, but it's kind of cool. I like it.
I think,
great, by the way, Vex.
I think I love it here.
There's definitely something going on. I can't quite place my finger on it, but it's definitely a magical place.
I mean, you never should fully trust a dragon, but he seems really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Can Kadra look through the books and see if she can find anything on any of her Valkyrie siblings?
Certainly. That's a great question. Cooley, would that be a thing you think I could have on these shelves, bearing in mind the nature of the library?
Well, giving Kadra particularly, being from a different timeline, her own self, kind of, you maybe might.
Okay. So you would see a number of books. If you make me a perception roll first, it is a library. You got to find what you're looking for, after all.
Let's see, 14.
Okay. I will say you do manage to find a couple of books which seem like they might concern the topic, but the text is always changing. There's something weird about it. And when you look at the cover of one of them, the cover itself is constantly changing. One way and another. One moment it's bright red with a strong, hard, velvety kind of like hardback cover. The next minute it's this soft blue, slightly torn paperback. And it just rapidly seems to be oscillating between its states. Your Valkyrie siblings seem like if this tale is here, it's changing and in flux somehow. The fact that it's here is kind of weird, though.
Yeah. Okay.
And I am going to gingerly take my arrow back from Ulfsaga's sugar crack kebab.
Hey, who's using that?
Yes, you would. I'm gonna hold it by 2 fingers because it's got cupcake shit all over it.
I can just imagine you shoot that at an enemy and they die from a sugar rush.
Yeah.
+3 sugar
And I'm not gonna
damage.
put it back in my quiver because it's gonna get cupcake shit all over everything in there. I'm just gonna hold on to it.
Might as well give it back to me so I can lick it clean. So.
I don't know if that's better or worse, but fine, here.
Woohoo!
Eventually you would hear the distant sounds of wing flapping, and eventually Arendar descends slowly through the glass, again, like it's not there. His wing is expanded as he uses the seeming updraft from the library itself to slowly lower himself to the ground without but a sound. And he looks around the room, smiling. Well then, thank you all so much for your time, your patience, and the many gifts you've laid at my door. My library, once again, overflows with experience, and I am grateful for your time and your travels. I must admit, though, out of everything I've heard today and everything I've seen, there is one who I will admit has struck my fancy more than most. And just to make this clear, as he cranes his head over the audience, you have all struck my fancy in some way, shape, or form. But this was truly something I haven't seen before. I award a victory to Runa, as he inclines his head towards the Warforged. You have provided me a truly interesting tale.
Well done, darling.
And thank you all, by the way. Many of you have provided interesting and precious gifts. Saga, I appreciate your trust. And also, Vex, I will speak with you shortly. Cora, your tale was illuminating, and Finka, your archery was enthralling. As well as also, I must mention that I am still intrigued by the soundless dance we saw earlier. It was very lovely, thank you. As he gestures towards the mime with a, thanks, nice try, we'll try again next year. So with that, I give you food and feast and merriment for your troubles. And he snaps his fingers, and the ground below you shifts as planks of wood seem to come from the bottom. It's very much like a Portal 2 kind of situation, where everything's shifting, the ground is moving, and from below rises a many-tiered table loaded with food, all of it smelling delicious. And he sort of just gestures to also a couple of what appear to be tankards of ale, which seem to just not stop flowing into cups. by all means, rest for the rest of the evening, as long as you would like, and feast to your heart's content. Thank you, all of you. And Arendar slowly sits down on the couch and comfortably just sort of like watches as people go about and enjoy the food if they do.
Yay,
Finka
Runa.
is going to grab a tankard of ale and a hunk of bread.
Is she?
And is
Careful with
going
that,
to-
Finka.
Is Finka really going to do that?
Yes. It's regular beer, not whatever the fuck we had before we got here.
Well,
It
I
is
hope
regular
so.
beer, right?
It is,
I'm gonna look
100%. It's regular beer. It is what you want to drink. And for the record, whoever else goes up to those tankards and pours, it is whatever you want to drink.
Cups of
I'm not going to
soup.
start farting rainbows or something.
Yeah. No, it's whatever you want. If you want just plain beer, it's beer. Beer, the
I mean, it's
old-fashioned.
really good plain beer, but it's not going to leave me hungover for a week. Grab a tankard of ale, grab a hunk of bread, and Finka is going to wander back to the library to see if she can circumvent their previous hosts on the whole people popsicles issue.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna grab a cup full of meat and I'm just gonna explore the place, period. No real goals, just exploring.
Vex is
Audra-
gonna.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Vex is gonna go ahead and pour herself a beverage. It kind of looks like ale, but upon closer inspection, anyone will see that it is merely apple juice because her last
love
foray into alcohol did not go well. And
Don't
she's
purge
going,
all alcohol on that one. That was not normal at all.
and she's gonna go sit by Ulfsaga and just kind of be there and show her that she is still loved by all of her friends.
No.
Aw.
It's so cute.
Kadra is going to pour into her cup what she hopes is Asgardian ale.
Yeah, it'll be Asgardian ale, straight up.
And she takes a big deep sip and just sighs in happiness because it's been so long since she's had any.
All right. I imagine the merriment would continue for a while, and eventually Arendar would pull Runa aside and sort of gently take his hand and clasp his massive paw around one of hers, and inside of it is two shining stones that seem to glow from the inside with this soft, almost like nebulous light. It looks like he literally just took like two almost like orb shapes out of the sky and just put it in her hand. And he leans in and says, "These will provide enchantment to whatever they touch. I give them to you to give as you will. And also, these." And he provides a set of 7 stones. They all seem like they're perfectly polished and made out of some kind of very pleasant sort of opal that glows from the inside, and each has a unique rune on it. These are sending stones. These will let you speak with your friends wherever you go. May they serve you well in your travels, my friend.
These are rare and precious gifts. Thank you. Thank you,
They-
Arendar.
They are well earned, and I thank you for your tale, which I must ask. Tell me, that wasn't merely just fiction, was it?
No. I've read about many, many great tales, but so far nothing is comparing to this group here. They're such an odd and strange group, and feels like somehow we shouldn't work together, but we really do, and they've been a sight to see.
And you are then truly out of time, aren't you?
Yes. It was a strange happenstance. I still am trying to find ways to process it and think of a way we could be back home. But it's been a marvelous experience.
I'm glad. Oh, you spoke of another in your travels. A moment, and he would reach behind his hand and provide one more stone and provide it in your hands. And that's the another one of the sending stones. That is for your friend. Eventually. Also, I have a thing I need to discuss with Vex. Runa, it's been a pleasure, and you are welcome back any time you wish to peruse my library. In fact, here, and he provides you with one book. It's handsome. It's black on the outside with gold filigree along the edge, and the inside is completely blank. When you write in it, I will see what you write, and I will have a copy of this book here that will update itself to match. Tell me your tales and travels. I will gladly keep them here, at the party's discretion, of course.
Oh, truly, Arendar, that's... I can't imagine thinking of all our stories finding their way to catalog here.
May they be told forever, my friend.
I will be an avid pen pal. I'll go fetch Vex for you.
Thank you. He slowly reclines on the chair again, smiling contentedly.
Since Vex is sitting next to Ulf Saga and she kind of sees Runa coming towards her from Arendar, she's going to give her just like a little squeeze on the shoulder and like a little hug and say, you're going to be okay. You've got this. Just deep breaths, okay?
I'm gonna kind of like bear hug onto Elf Saga because I really am very nervous.
I can go with you if you want.
No.
I think he's quite a friend, she says as she walks off. I don't think there's much to worry.
You're not the one that has to tell him what the stones said.
Are you sure you don't want me to go with you?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
She's got this.
Okay. Then deep breaths. You got it. We believe in you.
So, as you approach, Arendar is sitting there, and in front of him he conjures a chair, roughly your size, Vex, on a table between the two of you. Or at least between the two chairs, as he gestures towards it. Please, sit, my friend.
Okay.
So then, you cast runes, do you?
I do. My elder, she taught me before. Well, that doesn't really matter. I guess I'm kind of good at it.
Good. Then, by all means, please, cast them. It is only us, and I will not hold whatever message you bring to me against you.
So Vex will get her runestones back out, and she will kind of become very serious, more serious than I think anyone's probably ever seen her, except perhaps Cora. And she'll go ahead and cast them, and she studies them for a few moments before she says that you are seeking an end to your boredom, and someday that will end. You will be gifted with the most enjoyable and most amazing of stories, and you will feel like nothing will ever top that. However, once that day comes, a great tragedy will befall your library, and all will be lost.
Arendar watches the casting quietly, his face pensive. So I die fulfilled. There are few finer ways to go. Thank you.
You are welcome. But just remember that no fate is ever sealed, and the knowledge of what is to come is the power to change it.
That I know. In fact, in truth, everything can be changed. And really, after all, what is real? I thank you all for your time with me. And I release you to where you came. And he snaps his fingers, and just like that, you all wake up in the cave you went into, which has no exit at the back. It's just a nice, comfy cave. And sitting next to you, Runa, is a satchel with the gifts that he left you.
I imagine that Osago was like just about to take a bite of a cupcake when he snapped his fingers. He's just so disappointed.
Oh, that was a lovely dream.
Did you let us drink too much again?
I don't think it was a dream. And Runa's going to hold up the bag and pour out into her hands the stones.
I can't decide if that was a nasty trick or just fuckery.
Ulti, how do you feel?
I feel pretty dang good. It was so enlightening, and it made me feel like it really could happen. Like it could be really possible that I could control this.
Runa, you hear scraping from inside of the book that he gave you. And slowly, on the firstmost page when you open it, in sprawling, neatly written cursive, are the words, "And next time, you may actually come to my hall." And then a little period, and the book goes quiet.
Maroon is going to inscribe. I'm very much looking forward to it. She's going to close the book. Well, where do we go from here? As we are still in a cave on a mountaintop.
I don't think we can go anywhere until our taxi comes back for us.
You hear the flapping of wings outside of the cave entrance.
Can I stick my head out and see if this is imminent demise or just arrogant asshole?
You see Falcor land carrying this very large dragon size. It's a mega pint of dragon ale.
A mega
Oh
pint.
dear.
And he lands drunkenly, and he just kind of like looks at you. Oh, hello,
Great.
hello, Finka. I think I need a nap. And he like falls
Don't
asleep.
think and drive, kids.
What is driving exactly?
That was Sarah, not Finka. Right. Well, I don't think we're going anywhere until that wears off.
Well, you're in a safe place. You could camp for the night. Like,
Yes, I suppose we can. You know what else we could do?
How quickly does a dragon recover from a hangover?
Maybe dragons don't get hangovers.
Does anyone have any paint? Do you think he'd notice if we painted his face? Aren't you not supposed to fall asleep at parties?
A woman after my own heart, I was just about to suggest that we do something completely mortifying to him while he's passed out.
Oh,
Paints.
I was thinking, maybe
Pretty
a crown
pink
of
ribbons.
flowers.
I'm
one
open, really.
moment. One moment. And we're gonna druid craft a whole bunch of berries. I don't know how color works here, but go nuts.
You can druidcraft a bunch of flowers. That would be lovely. And maybe some vines so that we can like tie them on.
I have some yarn. I could make a doily and put it on his head.
You
I
should
think-
definitely do that.
Vex
I
is
think
going to take some of the feathers out of her ears.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Operation Bring the Dragon Down a Peg has commenced.
So you dress Falcor up to look like, you know, he
The
looks
prettiest pretty princess?
yeah, he looks really fancy, like he's ready to roll the red carpet, Sasha Fierce, and he isn't even
Excellent.
offended. It wouldn't even be offensive if he was like sober enough to know what was going on, because he would definitely embrace that it's a month to be prideful, and he would accept that into his existence. So he,
Okay, but I'm definitely drawing dicks on the side of his face. Like,
you know what? We don't
I'm intending for this to be humiliating. This is a punishment, damn it.
we don't shame, and you know, maybe he's into that. Dragons
Maybe. I don't know. He's passed out.
many a bard has fucked a dragon, so I think that they're pretty sexually open. So
Probably.
dicks are probably right in his cup of tea.
Ew, dicks in your
Yeah, I
tea?
think it doesn't want to think about that. So
It might be his favorite sort of tea bag, so to speak. You know, you don't know that. But anyway, that being said, friends, we're going to prepare to roll into the after show. We're going to raid out into Sensei Suplex, and we're going to talk about the shenanigans that happened here in just a few minutes. We will catch everybody in the after show. Huzzah for that. Huzzah, huzzah. Where's the-
Huzzah.
Here we go.
Huzzah!
Ah! Wrong one.